Hey there, Wolfpack fans. It's me again, Kenton and Grayson, bringing you another episode of Locked On Wolfpack. And our men came away with a very, very close, too close for comfort. I'm not exactly happy about it, but it's our baby win against Notre Dame at home here, 84-82. Again, it was a very close game down the stretch. You hope that you don't see a bunch of those, but we live with it, we accept it, and we hope that this team kind of figures it out from there. But we're going to get into how this game went down and why we believe that this team is on the up and up and doing better things, and whether or not we can keep this momentum going on the road in our next game at Wake Forest. And when I say we, I'm saying we because, of course, my main man, Grayson Boone, is back with us. So trust me, you're not going to want to miss all of the fun stuff we got for you this episode. And also, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. So stick around as we go through a review of today's game and all of the good stuff that went along with that on today's episode of Locked On Wolfpack.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Grayson, my main man, how you doing, big time?
Man, I got to figure out how to lower my blood pressure because I thought we were about to lose that game to Notre Dame tonight. Good Lord. I guess a clip that gets a lot of play amongst Wolfpack fans from Phillip Rivers is Wolfpack ain't for soft people. I don't know if anybody's nailed it a little better than that right there because good Lord.
I'm going to tell you this. They don't call us the cardiac pack for no reason, right? It is not good for your heart to be a fan of this here team, right? We look over and we see the Miami team that we just beat absolutely demolishing Florida State, right? You look at that game and I want to say Florida State led by like 30 at halftime or something crazy like that. But that's what you want to see, right? When you go into halftime with that massive, 54-28 lead, that's the type of stuff that we get. Or that's the type of stuff that we want. But what's the type of stuff that we actually get? I believe we trailed at half 43-42. That's what we got here. And, thank our lucky stars that we came away with a win in this game and that we made just enough plays to hang on. So, Grayson, tell me what you saw in this game and how this game went to you.
Got off to a super cold start and honestly didn't really heat up a whole lot after that. The shooting all night was, a little suspect. I'm going to be kind of critical of Terquavion Smith here. Not a fan of some of the shot attempts he was flinging up tonight. I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek. Very glad to see him out there running around again after what we watched on Saturday. But if he's going to be healthy, I need him to make some healthier decisions because that was tough to watch at some points. DJ Burns had a bit of an off night. He wound up with, I believe it was maybe 14 or 15 points. 14 points, mostly toward the end there, getting big-time layups and big spots. I'll credit him there, but had some troubles getting some balls in the bucket. Notre Dame did not so much. That Notre Dame is a team, they live and die by the three. They said that like 38 times on the broadcast tonight. We witnessed that firsthand. A team like that, when they're able to just fling it up at any point and shoot at a high clip, they shot I believe it was 43% from deep tonight. They're never really out of it. You can go on a run, but the moment you go cold, they can instantly climb back into it. That's what we saw multiple times tonight. Defense tonight for us was, I don't know, a little bit hit or miss. We did force 15 turnovers, which is a good sign. Something cool to point out, we only turned the ball over 2 times, which tied a school record. But to only win by 3 points with a turnover differential that high, oh my gosh, yeah, I'm gonna need a couple glasses of water here before I try and fall asleep tonight.
Now, here's my thing, and I mean this very genuinely rather. Terquavion Smith should have never played in this game. I am sorry to say this. It seemed as if he was grimacing after some of those shots, and
Probably
the
because they weren't
reports.
going in.
I mean, not well. Yes, that's part of it, but I mean, there is, to me, even besides the aspect of whether or not they're hitting, with the spill that he took and the reports coming out that it was kind of a game time decision type situation, and that he was kind of practicing through some pain and all that today. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know that as a coach, Coach Keats is coaching for his life a little bit here in terms of coaching for his coaching life, of course, but coaching for his life a little bit here and all that good stuff. But there comes a moment where you've got to look at some of your guys and you've got to say, hey, I'm a little older than you. I'm a little more experienced than you. This could be a situation where you turn a potential first round draft pick situation for yourself into, some serious nerve damage in your shooting elbow. And now you're looking at your form being off because you don't have the best of control of that arm. No, you're going to sit this one out. And if we can't beat Notre Dame without you, then we can't beat Notre Dame without you. But we need you to be off this court. But with that being said, his injuries didn't have anything to do with his shot selection. And that was just like, what's going on, man? What's going on? Like, even one of the deep threes that he did hit, I was still like, oh my God, what's happening here? What is I was on the phone with a good friend of mine, Hiram Granger, who listens to the show. He's a friend of the pod and all that. And we were talking, and it was just one of those moments where when he shot it, you're just like, no, no, no. And even after it went in, you're like, I mean, I'll take it, but ugh.
That
So
was exactly me. I mean, we've seen how the kind of offense that Keats will run with Terquavion, in that Baby T has the green light at virtually any and all times. Now, you get the green light by being able to hit those shots. Like you just said, a lot of times tonight he'd put it up and I'd instantly just grab my forehead because I knew what was likely going to happen. When you have somebody like that, as explosive and as talented as he is, every now and then he's going to shoot you out of a game. And that's what we almost had tonight. However, he hit 11 of 13 free throws. And arguably, you could say that ended up being the difference in this game. Not just Baby T alone, but our free throw shooting. But good grief, man. We just can't afford to be flinging up threes from falling out of bounds, almost half court. If they go in, then like maybe I won't say as much, but I mean, even still, like you just got to be able to run a more competent offense. Even when we were dumping it inside to DJ, he was getting good looks. They just weren't going in all of the time. So rough night for Baby T. Pretty
but
rough night for DJ. Go ahead.
but let me say this. In defense of Terquavion Smith, his shot selection was horrible. His shot was off tonight. However, one of the things that when in talking about him coming back, because again, y'all have heard me on this show. I've said when players need to come back. I've said when players, hey, this player owes us nothing. They've got some money to go make it. I said Terquavion Smith needed to come back because the biggest reason is he needed to prove that when his shot is not falling, he can still positively affect the game. Now, traditionally, when Terquavion Smith shot goes like it was going tonight, you'd see, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, four or five fouls. However, everything else that he did on the court very positively impacted this team. He did show up defensively. He led the team in assists, and I don't believe he had I believe he had 1 turnover on the night. Yeah, so it was 6 assists.
Yeah. He had one of the two.
6 assists, 1 turnover, 3 steals, 1 block. Like, he did show up in the other areas of the game. So kudos to you, Terquavion, on showing up in the other areas. But now if we could combine that effort in all the other places with a better shooting night, now we're cooking with grease. We're cooking with fire. We're cooking with something that we can work with here that is feasible for this team going forward if we're going to make a run in the conference tournament and in the NCAA tournament.
Right. And then I do want to highlight the positive in this game, and that is mainly Jarkel Joyner. Finished one shy of his career high. He had 28 points. Really showed that senior leadership in a game that looked like it may have been able to slip away from us. Jarkel really stepped up, took the reins, put everybody on his back. what a moment to do that, because like we just talked about last night, after losing that UNC game, you couldn't let a game like this become 2 losses. Basically
Right.
losing to UNC twice. Couldn't
Right.
afford to let that happen. So humongous shout out to Jarkel. Really picked up the slack for us tonight. I also want to shout out Breon Past. You might not find much on the stat sheet, but he played a couple key minutes with us tonight. He hit 2 big free throws near the end. He had a big steal, had a couple boards. That's a guy shows a lot of character, shows a lot of heart for someone that doesn't necessarily get a whole lot of playing time on a team with the depth we've kind of stumbled into this year. So a lot of credit to Breon Pass stepping up, playing some key minutes there. I saw a tweet from our mutual friend Ryan Williams about Ernest Ross and E.B. Juwana really carving out their role. Saw a lot of positive there as well. Ernest Ross really kind of blossoming into a pretty solid player. So very
Absolutely.
excited to see how he develops moving forward. But yeah, all in all, very thankful to come out with the win. A win is a win is a win, and that's what we have here. So can't complain too much, but definitely some things to clean up before we stroll over to Wake Forest this weekend.
It's not the prettiest baby, but it's our baby. We'll
That's
take it.
right.
We'll take it. We'll live with a win. We'll walk out of this game with a win. And it's always better to go into a film session with things to clean up in a win than in a loss. That's just, that's the tale as old as time. That's what you love to see. And so this team got it right. They got the win. They got what they needed to do done. And at the end of the day, you can't ask for more than that. You can't ask for any more than that in terms of what we're asking for this team, because we're not talking about a team that's been dominant in recent years. We're literally asking, hey, get us in the tournament, make something happen there. So that's just the reality there. Folks, the NFL playoffs are here, and we're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On, because they're the number one sports book in America, FanDuel. If you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at fanduel.com/locked on. Again, FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line, the point spreads, to player props. Doesn't matter. You can even combine bets for a chance at an even bigger payout with the same game parlay. Trust me, I don't care if you're talking about betting on Burrow or betting on Mahomes or betting against Hurts. Whatever you want to do, make sure that you do it at FanDuel, all right? It's very simple here. Football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet and get $150 in free bets. Win or lose at fanduel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So, Grayson, we talked about this a little bit in terms of the next game that we got coming up. But not Louisville, Wake Forest on the road, next on the docket. And Wake Forest has shown us how tough they can be at home, right? Beating a very good Clemson team already here. And this is a game that I'm pretty sure Wake Forest is going to be favored in this game, or going to be favorites in this game in terms of what Vegas thinks here. So, what say you about this game?
Certainly. Yeah, I will not be surprised if Wake is favored this weekend. They've been one of the few surprises in the ACC thus far. I believe right now they're tied for 4th. They're actually tied with Carolina, which is, anytime you're tied with Carolina at the top, that's nothing to sneeze at. So Wake is going to be a tough game. They're going to be ready for us. Something I've noticed in watching a couple Wake games this year, they struggle with guarding the perimeter. Now, when we have shooters like Casey Morsell, had a bit of an off night tonight, but if he's going to be able to get looks, have to knock him down. Jarkel, have to knock him down. I need some smarter looks from Terquavion, hopefully, and if he gets those, have to knock him down. In the Wake games, I have noticed, like I mentioned, a lot of clean looks from teams that haven't been maybe as well at shooting the three as we are. So hopefully we can take better advantage rather than other teams have. But they have good guard play on offense. Appleby, and I believe the other one is Hildreth, is his last name. They are strong offensive players, so we got to make sure we show up probably a little better than we did tonight on the defensive side of the ball. But it's going to be a dogfight, and I'm very excited to see what we turn out with in Winston-Salem this weekend. That's a big time show me game, in my opinion. Wake having the year that they're having, we stumbled a little bit in Chapel Hill this past weekend, picked up the win tonight. We gotta pick up more momentum. This would be a huge win moving forward, kind of moving into the second half of the ACC portion. So I'm looking forward to a good game. It's probably going to be a close game, but we got to bring it. That's for sure.
This Wake team is one that is extremely balanced. They have 4 guys averaging double digits on the season. Um, I don't. I'm not saying that that's like unheard of or anything, because there are other teams that are doing that this year. Clemson obviously being one of them at the top of the conference, and you look at what challenges they present. Not only are they balanced in terms of the ability to score the basketball, but also all of their top scorers are really good 3-point shooters. Like almost all of their top scorers are shooting 35, 40% from the 3-point stripes. And so this is going to be a very big game for our guards in terms of, you said they struggle defending the perimeter. Well, I'm going to tell you this. We're going to have to do that on our end as well, because if you allow the dribble penetration and kick, if you allow the situations where you're, turning the ball over and they get to running in half court and you get Hildreth in the corner, you get Monsanto in the corner, you get Carr that's not a situation that you want to see. That's just not. So I think that if we do as good of a job, or, expecting the team to only have 2 turnovers again, probably not likely. But if we have a similar job in terms of not giving a ton of live ball turnovers, in terms of not having a bunch of situations where they're getting out and running, and we can take advantage of some of those long misses on the other end and get in transition ourselves, I think this could work out well for us. But with that being said, this is a tall order. Whether or not you think that Wake Forest is one of the best teams in the country, they're 10-1 at home. 10-1 at home. So, this is not going to be a easy ask of our men's basketball team. But you know what? It's a part of being a really good team. It's a part of living that life of like, hey, we're going to be one of the best teams in the conference, and we're going to be a team that surprises folks and makes a tournament run and all that good stuff. You've got to win big games. And let me just say this about the game against Notre Dame, and this is the last thing I'll say on that. Being a tournament team, getting into the tournament, having people believe in you, having your fans show up, is not just about winning big games. It's not just about beating Miami's and all that good stuff. It's not just about, some of those types of things. It is also about not losing games that you're supposed to win. And that avoiding a big loss here against Notre Dame, what a great job, right? Like, again, you're looking at the 4-game winning streak, 2 of which were against ranked teams, and then you take a loss to the boys of Baby Blue, and of course, bouncing back with a win. Wasn't pretty, but it was a win. It means something. So can we continue this momentum? That's to be seen. I would hope so. Again, I would hope that Coach Keith says, hey, to Quavian, I know that you had the green light, but after last game, we're going to make it a yellow. We're going to make it a yellow, kind of put on your blinkers for your merge a little bit, do some safer driving, because I can't give you the green light in the 2 of 14 nights. Like, I just can't do it. It's not feasible, and it's not good for the team. Realistically, again, we love you. We want you to feel free. We want you to do your thing, but you can't do your thing to the tune of 2 of 14. That's never going to get the job done, man. That's always going to be a drag on the team. So, we'll see what this game is about. We'll see who can come away with this balanced game. We'll be right back to land this thing after a few words from our sponsors. Alrighty, so Grayson, let me ask you this, okay? In looking at this game against Notre Dame, is there anything else that you noticed that stuck out to you a little bit that we haven't mentioned yet that you would like to say, hey, this is something to keep an eye on going forward as far as this NC State team?
A couple quick fact nuggets. One, that was our 4th consecutive home ACC win. First time we've done that since 2014. Certainly a positive there. We're 5-0 now after coming off of a loss. That is something that's been very frustrating as an NC State fan over the years, is the amount of times we felt 1 loss turn into 2 losses, turn into 3 losses, so on and so forth. So credit to the guys coming out, refocusing, despite maybe losing focus at some point in that game, but coming away with the win. Very, very quality pick back up performance per se. That would have been a bad loss. There's no two ways about it. That would have been a very ugly loss to have at home. Something else I noticed is we got crushed on the boards in that game and still came out with the win. Going into tonight, we were 14-1 when we tie or win the rebounding battle. We got smoked tonight and still won. So that's another thing to be thankful for there. But recapping the Notre Dame win and heading into Wake, just gotta refocus offensively, man. We gotta get more movement. Something I noticed that really worked for a little bit in that game was Jarkel hovering around the free throw line. We kept feeding him inside. He turned, pop, swish. And then Notre Dame got, they got pretty keen to that. They switched to the 1-3-1 to try and prohibit that. But that's the bulk of what Joyner was able to do tonight, is just get in the lane, either shoot or pass back out for a better look, or, a different setup after we reorganize. But, against Wake, if we come out as stale as we did tonight, I don't think we can come back out on top in that instance. So need to make sure we come out, hit them in the mouth. Need to make sure we're crashing the boards. I know Wake is actually weak in rebounding at times. They struggle with the big men, boxing out all the time. So we're going to need all the effort we can get from guys like Ernest Ross, guys like Greg Gant, guys like Evie Duwana. Got to get in there, crash the boards. I've heard a couple whispers about maybe some Mahorcic returning to the lineup pretty soon. That would be pretty big. Don't know if it'll happen this weekend, but we do hope it'll be soon. But just gotta come out and play a more complete game than what we saw tonight, because Wake Forest they're going to show up for us. They're going to bring it. So we need to make sure we're bringing it to them.
Absolutely, and I want to talk about something here in terms of the tournament talk and bracketology and all that. And I never want to put the cart in front of the horse here, but we do not have a single loss to a team that would be outside of the not just outside of the tournament, but we don't have a single loss to a team that would be outside of the teams that would get a bye in terms of the tournament, according to Joe Lunardi at this moment. And so, again, avoiding this loss was avoiding not being in that category anymore, was avoiding not being looked at as, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here? Because Grace and I have talked about this before. If you, as an NC State team, give the selection committee the ability to keep you out, they will. And so staying in that territory of, hey, we won all the games we were supposed to win. Every loss we took came to a team that was very comfortably in the tournament, all that good stuff. That's important. That's very important. That's just the reality here. And what we're looking at, again, this win may not have been pretty, may not have been flashy, may not have been exciting. It was a win. And that's all that matters there. So, that's what we're going to hang our hats on here. And then we're going to come back and see if we can hang our hat on a win at Wake Forest this weekend. We'll see. We'll see. I believe they play, what is it, Friday? No, they play Saturday, right?
Saturday at 1.
Okay, they play Saturday at 1. We'll be watching. Hopefully it'll be on ACC Network and not on Bally Sports or not on Eskimos for Ice.com. We want to see it. We want to see something on our actual network, because the ACC does have a network, so it'd be nice to watch it.
Doesn't feel like it all the time. I could probably spend another 20 minutes talking some mess on Bally Sports, but yeah, hopefully we do get to actually watch it on an actual TV. That'd be nice. I'm tired of having to go through third-party websites to stream it on my phone. So I'm hopefully we're watching it on a TV. Hopefully we're watching a win on a TV. But yeah, we'll see everybody Saturday at 1 p.m. in Winston-Salem.
All righty. Thank you all so very much for coming out. I appreciate you every single time. Wolfpack Nation, y'all make this show what it is. Oh, and one more thing before we get out of here. I'm hearing a lot about, hey, there isn't enough attendance and there's still too many gaps in the crowd and all that. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave it right here. Has this team not given a proven product worth showing up for to this point? I mean, realistically, this team has given a proven product that's worth showing up for at this point. What more can they do? Like, other than being undefeated, of course, what more can they do? This is a team that we've seen multiple winning streaks of 3 to 4 games so far this season. This is a team that we've seen multiple times where after losses, they bounce back, they recover. This team needs our support. And I know that we cannot recreate the atmosphere that there was in Reynolds back when, Jimmy V was here. We can't recreate that in the PNC. It's too big. There's too much space. It doesn't exactly have that same feeling. We understand that. However, we need to be filling up the stands for these young men. They deserve it. They deserve it, point blank, period. Again, they're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat. They're surprising people, being better than everybody had us being at the beginning of the year when everybody said, oh, yeah, this is Keys' last year and there's nothing to be talked about here. Well, congratulations. We're showing up and showing out as a team. Now, folks, we as Wolfpack Nation need to do our part to be at these games, to be watching these games, to be chanting and screaming and shouting for the boys in red and white as loud as we can when we get there. All right?
Like you said, outside of like legitimately just being undefeated, what more could you want as a Wolfpack basketball fan following last season? It's amazing what a bad season can do to a fan base leading into the next year. But this team is leagues different than what we saw last year. They have so much heart. They have so much hustle. They have so much more talent. And on top of everything else, we're right in the mix. We're right in the mix for getting into the tournament that has unfortunately eluded us for the last couple of years. We're in a good position. We're in a good position to keep playing, to be in a good position. Absolutely. What more could you want? These guys will feed off of you if we show up. If teams from the Mark Gottfried era were getting bigger crowds, this team needs to get bigger crowds. Come on, y'all. So absolutely. They sounded pretty good on the TV tonight. I wasn't able to make it over there, but they did sound good on the TV tonight. Hopefully they sound even louder moving forward.
Again, right now, according to bracketology, we would be about a 9 seed. I mean, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen that in quite some time. So, folks, let's get amped. Let's get excited about this team. Y'all, again, Wolfpack Nation, I say this from a place of love because y'all always do show up and show out, and we just need a little bit more. We need a little bit more effort and energy from our fans showing up for these boys because they've given you reason. Everybody was on my head and on my case earlier when I said, hey, I'm not super for Keats. I'm not super against him, but he's our coach. We got to support him. Well, listen, the team is more than Keats. The team is more than whatever you think he is or is not. This team needs our support. They wear the red and white. They don that NC State on their chest, just like I'm wearing it right now, just like Grayson's got on his chest right now. So let's show them some love, all right? Peace and love, y'all. And as always, go Pack.
Go Pack.
You are Locked On Wolfpack, your daily podcast on the NC State Wolfpack, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.